Hello, hello. It is Susan from Sassy C Art Shop. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know what I do here, I like to do a little art, a little fun, some challenges, some creativity, just the good stuff, just the good stuff. So it is May, and you guys know what that means. It is time to draw another mermaid, because why not? I've been waiting all year for this, honestly. There's no rule that says I can't draw mermaids the rest of the year, but I get excited about MerMay. So last week I drew a mermaid inspired by a sunset. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check out that video after you watch this one. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Alright, so I am getting into the line work here, and it's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward because it's honestly a very simple design as far as like the silhouette goes and the colors. I just used my Prismacolor colored pencils to do this, and I realized after I had drawn like the tail and fin or whatever, I was like, oh, I didn't lighten up my sketch. The red was fine, but I wanted to make sure I did that before I did the skin and stuff. So yeah, just red for the dress, black for the gloves and the tail, a sort of peachy tone for the skin tone. And then for the hair, I actually, you'll see me in a second using my gold gel pen because I wanted it to have really gold highlights. But at first you think, oh, she's going to be a blonde. She's actually not. I plan to make her a brunette. But yeah, I wanted shiny gold highlights, and I thought this would be a fun way to achieve it. Hello, hello. It is Susan from Sassy C Art Shop. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know what I do here, I like to do a little art, a little fun, some challenges, some creativity, just the good stuff, just the good stuff. So it is May, and you guys know what that means. It is time to draw another mermaid, because why not? I've been waiting all year for this, honestly. There's no rule that says I can't draw mermaids the rest of the year, but I get excited about MerMay. So last week I drew a mermaid inspired by a sunset. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check out that video after you watch this one. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Alright guys, so let's get right into the coloring. I wanted her to have a very pale skin tone, so I layered a white colored pencil first, and then I took my like palest skin tone marker and used that, and then I used a slight purple for the shading and a little bit of pink for the blush, and then I went over the whole thing again with white just to lighten it up because, as I said, I wanted her very pale. And of course the hearts and the lips, I wanted a bright red, which will match her dress, and then just a little eyeshadow and stuff, so that was fun. So for the hair, I am coloring very carefully because I want those gold highlights to be preserved. I'm using a few different browns to layer up. Honestly, this part was kind of fun because like with the gold and because I was drawing like little pieces of it at a time, it kind of felt like I was coloring like stained glass or something. It was just kind of fun, gave me that effect. And I was just, like I said, very careful because I wanted the gold highlights to stand out. I didn't want them to be covered up by the marker. It was nice because I was using some of the newer markers that I have of my Ohuhu. So like the tip was still really nice and sharp, and I could get those really fine details and into like the crevices and corners and stuff. So I'm really glad I did that. Here I'm just adding some shading. Like I said, I didn't want it to look too flat or two-dimensional. I wanted it to have some layers and shadows and stuff like that. I feel like I could have gone deeper with the shadows and even brought in some more brighter highlights, but like I said, for this stylized piece, I definitely wanted the gold highlights running through. I wanted those to stand out, so that was fun. So here I'm coloring the fins, and I wanted the fins and the gloves to actually match. I thought that would look really cute. I debated because I knew I wanted the whole like tail dress to be red. So I debated doing white, I debated doing gold or silver, but I ultimately went with black because I just thought it would look really good. Where the fins overlap, I did it in a lighter shade to kind of show that, and then I used like some white colored pencils to add to the translucency effect, which I was trying to do. For the gloves, I started with a dark warm gray, and I just layered it over the whole thing. I think this worked really, really well. And then I went in with not quite black, it was a very, very dark warm gray. And I just kind of put in where the shadows would be and everything like that. And then I went back in with the original shade, the lighter gray, and layered over the whole thing again. I think that worked really well to give it that 3D effect without losing the details. And then I went in with a white colored pencil and just added some of the bright highlights back. And now I'm going in with my Ohuhu acrylic paint pens, and I'm just adding a bunch of like little shimmery gold dots and things like that. A few details and sparkles to the gloves and the fin. I thought that would just elevate it, make it look a little nicer, a little less boring. And for the part where it's slightly lighter, I used a slightly lighter shade of yellow. Yeah, this was super fun, and I think you get the idea that it's gold, which I really like. And now we are getting into my favorite part of the coloring. This was the whole reason I drew this dress, because I've been seeing like a lot of tutorials on YouTube how they create a glitter effect in their coloring, and it looked so fun. And I tried that for like some fairy wings that I drew in another video, but I was like, I want to do like a whole dress like this. I think it would be super, super fun. So as I said, I wanted a red dress. Her figure and the outfit, it's kind of inspired by Jessica Rabbit's look. Obviously, I chose my own colors, and she's not quite as voluptuous, but she does still have a lot of curves and stuff. And the cut of the dress and everything, I thought would be inspired by Jessica Rabbit, just because I thought it was fun, it's flirty, it matches the character really well, and I'm really glad I did this. So for the glitter effect, what you do is you lay down a base color, the lightest color of the color you're choosing. So in my case, a red. I chose a really nice bright red. And then you just go in and you add all these bunch of dots. Like you keep getting darker with your shades of the same color, of the same different reds. But where there are more shadows, you cluster the darker dots more tightly. And then where you want highlights, you leave it more sparse, have fewer dots. And like I said, this probably took me the longest just because I had to go over and over and over. I think I used 4 or 5 reds to create this effect. But I really, really like the end result, and it was so fun to create. And I honestly I want to make glitter stuff everywhere because it's so fun to do. And just, make sure you add in those shadows and shading, the little dots there, and it just it brings it all together. But here is where it really comes to life. Here is where the glitter effect really shines. So I take my Jelly Roll white gel pen and I just go over the whole thing. I go absolutely crazy, adding little dots and sparkles and stars, some bigger than the others. In the more shiny parts, I try to do more white dots and bigger ones. And when there was shadow, I tried to limit myself a little bit, but only as much as I wanted to, because let's face it, this is the really, really fun part, and I'm so glad with how it turned out. Okay guys, so here I am just adding the background, and I wanted her to be the focus, so I didn't want to do a really detailed background. I've been using my paint pens lately to do this, and I did like this. I liked the colors, but they were really dry, and I don't know why, because I've never really used these particular colors before, and they're still fairly new. So I don't know why it was clogged or whatever. It was just super dry and it was difficult to do. But I chose this sort of turquoisey teal color for the background just because I thought it would complement the red really well and make her stand out really well. If you guys have any tips though for like restoring the nibs or making sure the paint flow is like nice and smooth on this, please let me know in the comments, because this is a problem and I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if it's just like an easy fix that I don't know about. Alrighty guys, so I have just finished the full piece. I'm really excited to show you guys. I think it turned out really good. So y'all are going to see the grand reveal in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! I think she turned out really, really good. I absolutely adore the sparkle on this dress. I just think it's so fun. It took a lot of little dots to do, but like I said, it was really fun. I like the gold detailing on both the gloves and the fin. I think it just ties it together really well and updates the elegance of it a bit. I like that her hair has the layered look with the gold strands. Her hairstyle kind of reminds me of Belle a little bit, just because of like the bun and, you know, the brown and the gold kind of like evoke Belle. So I love her blowing the little kiss with the hearts. I think the flow of it is really cute. As I said, I wish the background, it had blended out a little better because it looks a little messy. But like I said, I was having some trouble with my paint pen. So if any of y'all know of like a solution for the acrylic, Nahaku, whatever, for the Ohuhu acrylic paint pens, like, because there's still paint in it. So if you know like a solution, that would be awesome. Let me know in the comments. And then I have her having signed like XO Valentina. That's the name I decided to give her because I thought it was kind of like sultry and, you know, she definitely gives that vibe. And then it's like she did like a kiss. So this is sort of like if someone was asking for her autograph, this is like the photograph that she would give. But yeah, I think she turned out super cute. I had so much fun creating her, and I can't wait to see what I'm going to create next week. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming along with me as I drew this mermaid today. You know, doesn't she look good? I love how it turned out. It's so fun to play with different mediums and create different effects and stuff, and that's really what art is all about. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Check out my video from last week for that mermaid, and don't forget to check in next week for the new mermaid. All right, I'll see y'all then. Bye.